What is up, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Welcome to On the Beach with Pete, the hobby along, paint along series that you put on in the background whilst you do your hobbying or painting. I'm just leaning back a bit because it's under the fan, which is nice. It's a hot day today, blistering hot, lovely jubbly. Been to the beach, been in the water swimming. It's been great. But I'm knackered now. I've even managed to paint one of my windowsills on the upper floor, on the bedroom windowsill here. So, hanging out the window painting that was fun. So I've done that one. I've got to do this one yet, the window that's directly facing me, but that's going to be a little bit more tricky because I have to move all the bench out of the way. That might not be so easy, but we'll see. And but that's for another day. I've done my bit for today, so I thought hobby time. Let's get some hobby in. I've got things that I need doing, and so without further ado, get your glues, brushes, paints, models, whatever you need. We're going to get together, do some hobby. I know where I'm starting with it, don't know where I'm finishing with it. We'll just take it as it comes and we'll see where we go from there. So I'm starting with the Rohan horse bases. I've just got to paint them little of the grass tufts that are actually on the plastic bits of the basing on these. You'll see it in a minute. And I've got some other models and things. I've got my fell boost that I started on the wings. I need to do the underside of. I got stuff to do. So without further ado, let's get to the bench. Okay, here we are at the bench. I'm going to start with some shade wash that I'm going to put on these little grass tufts here. This Baltan green. Just going to find a suitable brush, and I think I found one. So I'm just going to pop my glasses on. I've got my condenser microphone on because I wasn't sure if the noise of the fan would be distracting or not. So just shaking up this shade wash a bit. I don't often use a lot of coloured shade washes these days because of contrast paints and things, but they've still got their place, and this is one such instance. So that's one done, so that's good. So as I was saying, it's been a fantastic day weather-wise. I mean, what is it today? It's Friday today. Yes, Friday today. And next week, some of you may know, my mum passed away, so next week is going to be her funeral on the Thursday, so I will be, for obvious reasons, glad when that day has come and gone. It's just not something I'm looking forward to. It drags it all up again, doesn't it? The grief process and all that. And I think you can't really move on from something like a death in the family until the funeral, and then you can start. Then it really starts happening, right? Let's move it up to here. Or maybe you could see what I'm doing. It's just these little grass tufts I'm painting here. I don't want to overdo it with the shade wash, but I'm just thinking a little bit of shade wash, and then obviously when that's dry, which won't be this session, ready for the next paint, and then we'll do a little tiny dry brush on it, which will be nice. Also, I've made a decision, a water-based decision. You guys know I have an old paddleboard that's been sort of bequeathed to me. That one. I've got a dinghy boat. I've got a rubber ring, but I'm thinking going for a bodyboard. I'm just thinking of different things I can use it for, like exercises in the water to help me with my MS and stuff. So that's that's good. Yeah, so I went in today. I didn't obviously I went in with my wetsuit on, my rash vest and everything, and I know people look at me thinking, oh, what a wimp putting on a wetsuit to go in the water and that, but you know guys, I've got to be careful because of my epilepsy, because sudden drops in temperature such as being immersed in colder water can trigger seizures. It is a known factor, so I've got to be careful. So I don't want to go in too cold. I've got nothing to prove, and so I'm just playing it safe, and I think that's the sensible thing to do. It's one of the reasons I can't go swimming on my own, because the water could cause a seizure. I mean, I discussed this with the nurse before at the time. She said, yeah, but at the same time, you've got to have a life. You won't do anything. So just be sensible with it, you know. So I thought, well, yeah, fair play. That sounds like sage advice to me. Okay. You really don't need much shade wash with this, and this is going through quite quick here. Yeah, so it's these little tufts of grass on the side here that you can see, like these here. Got some food for tonight. Got some pizza. Got some barbecue chicken drumsticks. Oh, got some cheesy hash browns. They're nice. They're such a change from like chips and things. Sometimes it's nice to change things up, isn't it? You know. Yeah. Right, well, I can pop those to one side now, which I've done. Right, now I can pop that away. I can come over with the fell beast, and I can turn it upside down, because I'm going to be working on the underside. I'm going to be using snake bite leather for this effect. Using a number 3 brush. I'll just use it from the pot, that's fine. Just going to prop the lid open with another brush. Okay. I know these contrast paints can mess up your brushes. Yeah. I know they're not kind towards the bristles. But you know, pluses and minuses. Things like this, it's pretty good, I think. Yeah, you can see that I'm just painting in the different segments here of the wings with snake bite leather. I did Army Painter speed paint hardened leather on the other side. 1, that's lighter, and 2, it's shiny, and 3, this will give a much easier contrast to the 2. I think, anyway. The darker one, which is snake bite leather. Being underneath. More in the shadow. I've got to do some dry brushing on these wings at some point as well to help with the what's it called, translucency in some parts of the wings. I did a similar thing on some Tyranids once. Right, don't want any of this pooling up. Mustn't forget I've got to do the bone areas as well. Right. Right, so this marks 1/2 of the underside of the wings done in snakebite leather. So I'm just going to turn the model around. So I'm holding it from the other side now. Yeah, it's got these bony bits to do, which I'll probably do. Don't know if it'll be a shabty bone or something lighter, maybe, or I don't know. Maybe a sort of bone white or something. So, like I say, that'll be a little bit more difficult, a little more tricky. Whereas this stage is quite quick and easy. I don't know whether I'll be able to go for the full hour today, guys, due to commitments, family commitments, but we'll see. But I definitely wanted to get some painting in, and it feels good. You know, this is my zen place. I love this. Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, I'll get next week over with. Not next week over with, because I'm on holiday next week. I've got a week off to, just get over the funeral and just still getting my head around the fact that I'm an orphan now. You know, all that kind of stuff. Just takes a bit of getting used to, you know. I don't have any parents I can call upon anymore. I'm part of the parents now, you know. But you don't think about your parents having parents, do you? It's, I mean, I know you're a parent yourself, most of you, but yeah, you just, well, I don't anyway. I didn't think about it really, I guess. Okay. And there we go. Look at that. Snakebite leather is done. Wow. That's pretty awesome. Wow. So I'll pop that back to one side as well. Take that out. Ooh. Okay, now I'm gonna have a think about what colours I'm gonna paint King Theoden. So I'm gonna have the mounted version and the unmounted version, because I'm gonna do them both kind of at the same time here. So done some of it by the looks of things. Alright, might use snakebite leather again. Yeah, on his armor plates, but I'm going to need a lot smaller of a brush, and bear in mind I don't want it really to get too knackered. Right, okay, Right, so snake bite leather is going on these. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have him wearing leather armour for the sake of the horses. My Theoden doesn't want his horse carrying too much weight. So he's going to wear leather armour on the top. And yeah, even on his arms, I think. Like these sleeves and that he's got going on here. His helmet can be metal. So I've got it mounted as no helmet. I know he would more likely lose his helmet after coming off the horse, but in my world, he takes his helmet off before he gets on his horse. He just wants to carry as little weight as possible to burden his horse as little as he can, because he's a good horse lord as well, and he loves his horse. And he wants to look out for him. That's my version. I bet you can hear that fan going, but trust me guys, I've got to have it on. I mean, it's just so hard. Yes, I think we will. I might go down and put a pizza on or something after this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do all the fancy bits on the armour in a gold or brass or something. So I think that would work, I think. Yeah, there we go. There. Okay, now I'm going to paint his helmet. Just on the unmounted version. So for this I'm using Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy Tooth and Goats Dwarven Iron. For this. 20 minutes in already, so we're doing alright actually. Doing okay, folks. Right. It's probably far too much Dwarven Iron on the palette, but there you go. Right. A little bit of water. Thin it down. That's what you gotta do, thin it down. There we are. Right. So, same brush as before, but different colour. do the flesh tone after. Do the horsehair after as well. Thinking what else. Well, I'm going to paint the armor plates on his like skirt, dwarven iron, because I am going to be going over those with gold for the finer details later on. So I think I'm perfectly justified to do that. I think. Here. Yeah, that's good. So I'm just working on his sword scabbard here and now, and then I'll be having to do his boots as well. Now they are armoured. They are armoured. See, he's got a lot of weight that he's bearing here. This is why he needs to offload as much weight as he can to compensate. In my world. For his horse, for the sake of his horse. Alright. Started watching another sort of detective-y type series at the moment. Seeing what it's like. It's called Whitechapel. I've only seen one episode so far. It seems alright. You know, it's one. It was good enough for me to think, yep, I'll give this a go. So that's what I'm intending on doing. Giving it a go. Okay. Again, I've got to do his sword scabbard. And his boots. Stirrups I'll do later. I mean, I'm painting the stirrups as well, but I'll go over them separately at a later date or a later time. Looking at these models, he's wearing a lot of armor on his legs. He really is. I'm not saying that he shouldn't, but he is wearing a lot of armor. Right. That's King Theoden done. Let's move on to this model troll. I'm going to use some of this dwarven iron on his spear tip here. Because I'm going to dirty this all up to heck later on. Yeah, this will be good. So, having a go. I went to a place called Beer Quarry Caves yesterday. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I thoroughly recommend anybody going to visit that if they come down this way. Tickets are about 13 quid, but you do get a proper guided tour just through some of the areas. Otherwise you would get lost. You'd get lost in there, because the actual area of it all is total is about 40 acres underground. You imagine what that's like. For anybody that doesn't know what an acre is, that's about the size of a football pitch. Yeah, so imagine that, 40 football pitches. Okay. It's Fan W Dozy, yes. Ooh. I'm going to do some dwarven iron on his armour here. Oh, this is good. I'm enjoying this. Still see that? Yep. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Me and detective series, crime. Don't know what draws me to crime. I think it's the mystery, the puzzle, the working things out, clue gathering, you know, the whole bit. I just love it. It's pitting your intellect against that of the mastermind criminal, and it's just good. I enjoy it. Anything like that. Of course, it has to be quite well written for me to enjoy it. I watched a series called Rebus recently, and there's no... I understand there may be the further series, but there's just no... Oh, I don't know, there's no closure of any aspects of it at all. It's just left so many questions at the end. I'm like... I felt like I'd wasted some of my life watching it. You should have some closure on certain aspects. Yeah, fine, keep a few cliffhangers open, but not as many as they did. It didn't answer anything, you know, and it's just, well, a bit pants, really. I thought. Well, of course, that's just my own take on it. Half an hour in. I'm just doing the ring here. This is obviously to keep him in check, keep him on a leash at some point. Yep. Yeah, that's looking quite good. Yeah, I think I might do the middle bit of his armour in dwarven iron as well. I think it'll look better. There we are. What about you guys? Do you like crime series, detective series, anything like that? I mean, watching this Rebus, I mean, if it hadn't been the fact that you didn't get no closure on any of it, it would have been quite good, because it was fairly well written, you know, as it went along, but yeah, it's just too many open ends. You know, in some of these series, they don't get renewed, do they? So by the time they come around again, you've forgotten what it was you was waiting for, haven't you? You know. Anything on the fell beast I want to do in the armour? with a little bit of armour on his head, which I will do. Yeah, sorry about the fan. It is necessary though, I do assure you, it's very, very warm here. I know some of you live in far hotter environments, but do you imagine not having your AC? We don't have AC here. No aircon. Just a fan. And the humidity over here, whoa, it's really high. Really high. Okay. I think that's fair play. It's not always easy to see where your armour should be and your skin should go. Sorry, I'm off camera, but it's a really, really awkward angle. Some of these angles are very, very difficult to get to. But anyway, there it is, there he is. And that's that. You can see now like the difference, hardened leather, snakebite leather. Darker underneath than it is on top. Yeah, well there's the difference. Oh. Right. Now I'm going to have a look at my riders of Rohan. Think to myself, well, am I going to paint them before I go on the horses? I'm going to cut one off and tidy him up. There's all sorts going on in this episode, isn't there? Yeah, cutting from a sprue. Right, so we've got one rider with his sword. He's going to need a shield. And then we are going to need to tidy this up a bit. Good. I often wonder with shields when they're separate why they need to be separate, because it's not like you can even say, oh, I won't have a shield then, because he's got like a big nodule where the shield would go, and it's not good. Right, so what I'm going to do is glue his shield on. Oops. Okay, up that way. Too much glue on there. I hate getting glue on plastic, especially plastic glue. Right, that could have done so much better, but hey, needs must. Right, just tidy him up a bit. I.e. his feet, where I cut them from the sprue. then gonna look for mold lines. Now, ain't too bad, I don't think. I mean, sit on a horse, sort of like that. Sort of like that. I'll just leave him on there for now. I know he's not glued on or anything. And I know that I'm going to have to scrape some of the paint off of the saddle, otherwise I'll be gluing paint against paint. And that ain't good. I'm just going to check my mobile to see what time it is. That's nearly 6 o'clock. Alright, well, I think we might have time for a pizza later, so that's good. I've done quite a bit of work there. I do need this all to dry before I can move on to the next stage. And with the grass tufts, it's going to be a dry brush, quick dry brush, and then I am going to seal these horses because, yeah, they'll be so much better. Right, I'm going to cut back to me now. There, so thanks ever so much for joining me on this episode of On the Beach with Pete. I'm sorry it's a bit shorter, but I feel like I've accomplished more in this shorter episode than some episodes I've done. Don't know why that is. Probably because I've got some sort of paint on more models or more miniatures than I would ordinarily do. So yeah, I think that's a fundamental factor in that. But yeah, I've had a blast. That has been good. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush the little grass tufts on all these. Actually, it'd be better if I was in focus, would it not? Hopefully I'm in focus. I don't know. Maybe I'm better out of focus. Personal preference, I guess. I'll just lower the camera slightly. Yeah, because I'm leaning back. I'm under the fan here. Yeah, it's just so hot. That's about all I can manage in this heat as well. It's like I'm proper hot, proper hungry, and anxious to watch another episode of Whitechapel. It's called Whitechapel, the series I'm watching at the moment. Are you guys watching anything at the moment? Do let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what you're working on. If you're working on anything whilst you're listening to this, me ramble on about this nonsense, that would be good. And don't forget, give the video a thumbs up, all that stuff. You guys know. Watch out, there'll be another PQ at some point. I've got more questions, so I'll be answering those. And I'm looking forward to the next video. I hope you guys are too. I'll see you on another one. Bye for now. Bye bye.